I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling on my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
For the 8th straight season, the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series comes to the hallowed ground World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, as it kicks off the year with the running of the Great American Race, Daytona 500. A lot of sports, they'll have their big event right at the end of the season for a finale. Not here in motorsports. We have the big race right at the very beginning. It's the race everybody wants to have on their resume. 7 drivers have been able to do so far. Will we add an 8th one here tonight? There is the possibility that we could end up having a multiple-time Daytona 500 winner by the time the checkered flag waves. I believe 3 drivers are in line for that possibility. And man, talk about a way of padding your career here in the Next Gen Cup Series if you're able to do that. But last season, it was Jessica Shelton bringing home the championship, did it in dominating fashion in the final race of the season, as she not only won the championship, but won her 3rd race of the season in the finale at Michigan International, extended S3 Motorsports' stranglehold on the championship to 3 straight seasons, and has brought that speed here to the beginning of Season 8, as she captured the pole position in yesterday's pole day qualifying. We'll see how important track position will be here tonight. Can Shelton pick up her first Daytona 500 victory off the heels of her first career championship? She's going to have Michael Norman lined up to her outside. Michael Norman with some new colors here, new sponsorship this season with WWE on the hood. Michael Norman Motorsports always seems to have good super speedway cars. However, Michael Norman Motorsports currently sits at an 0-for-7 in their attempts to win the Daytona 500. So we'll see if Michael Norman can maybe get his first career Daytona 500 victory here tonight. Last week, we had the Clash at the Coliseum, the non-points exhibition race to open up the season, and Summer Henson, the replacement over at Auto Junction Racing, replacing longtime driver Ryan Butcher, turned a lot of heads as she picked up the victory in that event. She had a great qualifying effort yesterday. She will roll off the highest running rookie in the 3rd position, and a driver that turned heads as a rookie last year was Casey Hoyt out of then Lake Effect Autosport. He has now made the jump over to Northeast Motorsports, and his Raising Cane Chevrolet is going to make up the completion of row number 2. A lot of storylines up here at the front, but there are storylines all the way back through the field. Our couple of non-charter drivers that made their way into the field here tonight. Charles Belding making his first start in a long time. I think the last time we saw him on track was all the way back in Season 5 for then Pigeon Racing. And then Mike Tellier is in the field. Second straight season that he has made the Daytona 500. Last year, qualified inside the top 10 and finished inside of the top 10 for Bishop Family Racing. He's back with Bishop Family Racing again here this season, but a rebranded 17 now to the number 43. We'll be keeping track of everything here tonight as it develops. 80 laps of racing await these drivers, and of course, last night, if you didn't tune in, our Duracell Ultra Light Series race had one of the closest finishes in NCAA history at 2-1 thousands. Can we beat that here tonight, or at least be in for another photo finish? We're going to answer all these questions in just a few moments, but it's time to go down track side. These drivers are ready, the fans are ready. I know I'm ready up here in the booth. Hope you are ready as well. Let's get those famous words of motorsports tonight.
Drivers, start your engines!
Just like what we talked about the transporter. At the end of pit road, the last pit box is a timing line. So the last white line on pit exit is the line. Big thumbs up, my friend. Have a good time.
42 cars strong make their way off of pit road behind the pace truck here tonight. You're taking a look at your starting lineup for this evening's Great American Race. 80 laps in total, a little over 20 laps more than what they ran in last night's Light Series race. Looks like the fuel window's going to be a little bit bigger for these drivers here tonight. Last night they were able to run anywhere from 17 to 18 laps on a fuel run. Here tonight, they'll be somewhere in the 28 to 31 lap range. Of course, as well, a lot of new developments to the car between Season 6, when the next-gen car debuted, and now Season 8. Rear spoiler wing there to give some added downforce. That's going to add more drag, allow for drivers to be able to get big runs here to battle for position. Expect to see double and three wide most of the evening. Of course, as well, new gearing for these drivers. Instead of the original 4 gears, they now have 6 gears available. Not certain if we're going to see them get up to 6th gear here, or if they'll stay in high 4th gear. We'll find out. You could just feel the anticipation. You could cut it with a knife. 42 hopefuls hoping that at the end of the night they are going to be Daytona 500 champion. A lot of times in super speedway racing, not about where you start, it's where you finish. We'll see our front runners try to stay at the front all night. We'll see those that qualified at the back try to make their way to the front as soon as possible. But the green flag is out, and Season 8 is officially underway in the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Fanning out already out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. That's RJ Bishop in the Kroger number 98. Looking to go 3 wide for third as Shelton, Norman still side by side for the lead. Shelton taking the middle line, Norman in the third lane. Shelton's going to clear up the middle through 3 and 4. As Summer Henson a little squirrely there in the middle line between Norman and Bishop. Shelton will lead the first lap of the season in that Coors number 94 Dodge. RJ Bishop, though, not going to rest on ceremony. He's going to go for the top spot. And how about the defending Duracell Ultra Light Series champion Eric Monaco here now, full-time in the Cup Series. And he's looking for the top position down the back straightaway in that Shell Pennzoil number 45. Monaco running for Rookie of the Year this season, being pushed by a former Rookie of the Year, Zachary Fitzwater. Took those honors back in Season 6. Now Monaco jumps up to the top. He'll lead that lap, but Fitzwater alongside him for the top position. And he's got drafting help from a returning driver to the Cup Series, that being Alexander Rowe in the 46. Three wide, 5 rows deep here at the front. About 7, 8, and 9 rows of just double wide there towards the rear of the field. Different drivers going to have different agendas here in the early going of this race. Some of them might be hanging out towards the back. Obviously up here at the front, a lot of drivers battling tooth and nail to get those bonus points for laps led. Seeing a lot of drivers that are having difficulty, especially in that middle line off of turn 4, of holding their lane. Want to drift up, it seems, into that third line. Third line almost getting squeezed up into the wall. One wrong move at super speedways can have catastrophic results. Hopefully these drivers can keep it together here. We only had 1 caution in last night's Light Series race. It was towards the end as well, which set us up for a doozy of a shootout to end off the evening, but we weren't without incidents. Let's say that. We only had one caution for cause, but we had several incidents during the course of the night. All of a sudden, that inside line is dissipated. Middle line's losing some momentum. Zachary Fitzwater around the top now has the race lead. As we're looking at Levi McIntyre in the 99. Levi 2 victories last year. However, was not able to make it into the playoffs. He had one victory prior to the playoffs beginning, but wasn't high enough in points to nab one of the wild card positions. Then he picked up another victory during the playoffs at Arizona. So looking to build up that momentum here, maybe get an early victory in Season 8 to secure himself a spot in the championship hunt this season. Of course, we didn't tune into any of the races last season. New playoff system was implemented from Season 6 to Season 7. In Season 6, it was the win and you're in system, 16 drivers making it in. The rest of the drivers got in that were the top in point standings without a victory. As I think Fitzwater might have just brushed the wall there off a turn 2. But a new implemented rule in Season 7 where it was the top 10 in the point standings, regardless of if they had a win or not, they made it into the playoffs, and then 6 drivers got the final 6 spots via wild cards of drivers that were outside of the top 10 but inside of the top 30 with victories. A number of drivers ended up making their way in via wild card spots, including the driver that eventually went on to win the championship, Jessica Shelton. Another driver that ended up making it in via wild card spot is the driver that was the defending winner of this great American race coming into tonight, that being Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez last year winning as a non-charter go or go home driver, had to qualify his way in on speed and was planning originally to be just a part-time driver in Season 8. After that Daytona 500 victory, though, a lot of efforts out of Haas Racing, Bishop Family Racing, eventually in the playoffs for Northeast Motorsports to allow Matthew Rodriguez to run full-time. All in a non-charter capacity, too. Matt Rod didn't have a guaranteed starting spot in the lineup until we got to the playoffs. And are we looking to go 4 wide here? I hope not. I think McIntyre is going to tuck in behind Alexander Rowe. Really smart as Jesse Turner showed the nose there for 4 wide, working his way up to the front with help from second season driver Kyler Sustre. Sustre was a non-charter driver last year, was able to pick up a victory nonetheless at Las Vegas. The track will be at a couple of weeks from now. And now he is a full-time chartered driver over with Haas Racing. Haas Racing has 2 Daytona 500 victories here in the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Rodriguez last season and Matt Haas back in Season 5. We talked about the fact that there are 3 drivers with an opportunity here tonight to be a multi-time Daytona 500 winner. They would include the following: Carson Gum, who won this event back in Season 3. Actually, no, correction. There are only 2 in the field that have that opportunity. Carson Gum, we already mentioned, and Matt Haas, who we just talked about, won it back in Season 5. When I said 3 earlier, I mistaken in the fact that Chris Dollerton failed to qualify for the field yesterday in pole day qualifying along with Autumn Brooks. I, for some reason, thought that Dollerton had made the race and would have been one of the defending winners of this event, but that was not the case. So the other drivers that have formerly won here at Daytona that are not here to try and be a multi-time Daytona 500 champion include Season 1 winner Carter Friesen, Season 2 winner Cole Baker, Season 4 winner Trey Wright. We'll see Trey Wright later on this season, but also Chris Dollerton from Season 6 and the defending Daytona 500 winner Matthew Rodriguez. We saw Dollerton in last night's Light Series race as Levi McIntyre with a dive to the inside of Eric Monaco for second place, but Zachary Fitzwater, ever since getting to the front, he has been able to hold on to that race lead, running the outside line here. And you're probably wondering, well, this is kind of unusual. Wouldn't the inside line be the shorter and the faster way around? Yeah, in normal circumstances it would. But we've already talked about all the new added features to these race cars here this season. Because of that, the rear wing gives them more downforce. More downforce means more speed. These drivers are carrying over 220 miles per hour into turn 1. With all that speed, it's very difficult to hold the bottom. The car is going to want to push up. It's not necessarily, this track it has a lot of banking, but not necessarily designed for that high of speed. So if you run up the longer way around the racetrack, it scrubs off a little bit more speed. It's a little bit easier to handle your race car. You just got to hope you don't overstep the cushion and get into the inside wall. So far, that has not been the case for driver 83. A lot of drivers, a lot of big names riding there towards the back of the pack. Keith Batson back there, Mike Tellier, Kyle Matthews, Austin LaPlante. Just waiting possibly for when that first round of green flag pit stops will be coming around. And again, looks like our fuel window is somewhere around the lap 28 to lap 30 mark. So they could go longer here in this race than they did in last night's Light Series race. With 80 scheduled laps here tonight, you're looking at pretty much a 2-stop race if we continue to trend green. Notice the iron Gwazi colors making their way up towards the front. That's Dylan Young in the 2 car. Joshua Osborne behind him in the 27. Jack Mitchell in the 01. Of course, a number of drivers during the off-season able to acquire charters from drivers that weren't returning, teams that forfeited their said charters. Kyler Sustry, Jack Mitchell, Reggie Fogelman amongst those drivers that were able to secure full-time charters to qualify for races every week. And they would love to make the most of it here tonight at Daytona. Get that early checkered flag. As Zachary Fitzwater continues to lead, and they are 3 wide for second place. Let's give you a look at what is going to be happening around the turn as after tonight we pack it up and we head to Virginia as we will be at the 2-mile speedway / super speedway of Manassas. We kick off on Friday with qualifying for the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers. Saturday afternoon, it'll be the Cup Series drivers qualifying at Manassas. And then it's the Virginia 120, the second race of the season for the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers from the Manassas Speedway. That'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Cup Series we'll see the following Sunday. Issues for Kyle Matthews there in the 09. You can see he was running at the tail end of the pack, and he has, it appears, lost the draft. And race at 3 wide up ahead of him, several rows deep. Normally, that would allow a driver to be able to draft back up to the pack, but it doesn't look like that's the case for Kyle Matthews. Also, Charles Belding, the third entry out of Fortnite Squad Racing. He is there at the rear of the field, and it almost is starting to look like the gap is opening up between him and the last car in line. So something to follow up on here is maybe you don't want to be at the back of the pack because you are in danger of being that last car in line, nobody behind you for draft, to maybe lose the lead pack. Ford's now 1, 2, 3, actually make it 1, 2, 3, 4 on that outside line. And we've got pit stops. All right, so I had the fuel window wrong. We got a wreck in the back. Summer Henson, Nathan Orman just got together. Connor Breton's collected up. That's got to be a caution, right? No, the lights are still green around this racetrack. I don't know how that's not a yellow. But Summer Henson just got together with the, I believe it was the 23 of Nathan Ormond. Then Ormond got spun down into Connor Breton as drivers are making pit stops there, and there is no yellow. There's dust there through the infield, and Kyle Matthews in the 09 is smoking now. No yellow. There's the car that I saw get out of shape. The 23 of Nathan Norman. You can see he's got right side damage now. Some pretty good damage, it looks like, on the rear spoiler also. On that Disney Plus Dark Horse Mustang. And you see those skid marks right there. How is there no yellow? Kyle Matthews limping around the apron, trying to make his way back to pit road. There's got to be some oil being laid down on that apron. As you're looking at the battle for the lead now, these drivers are still yet to come to pit road. I think Jack Mitchell and Kyler Sustre. Sustre's up and into the wall. As now Mitchell's coming in. And this is potentially where your race lead is going to cycle around to. Zachary Fitzwater, Laura Chung, and Joshua Osborne. We'll see where those other drivers from the second group come out. But this is shaping up very much like our Light Series race did yesterday. We're having incidents, but no cautions coming out for them. And Joshua Osborne now making the move for what I think is eventually going to be the lead. Once everything cycles around here. Laura Chung looks like she'd be second. Zachary Fitzwater third. And then Levi McIntyre will more than likely be the top four. And now the caution is out. Yellow flag is out, and I think Jack Mitchell actually will be the leader. He was going to probably lose the lead to Osborne if we were still at speed. But I think he and Kyler Sustre may have timed that pit stop perfectly. I think they're going to be first and second, with Osborne in third. And we got a car upside down on the front stretch, and that is Carson Gum, the former champion, the former Daytona 500 winner. And I'm not necessarily certain that's what actually brought out the yellow. I think that was a follow-up wreck after the caution had already waved, and there may have been some friendly fire because another of the Fortnite Squad Racing Camrys has damage, and that is go or go home driver Charles Belding. Charles Sanford's on the apron. Nick Gunther, who last season was a two-time winner. Charles Sanford, a former champion. Keith Batts is coming to pit road. He's got damage. That was a playoff contender from last year. Well, they're all, I think, they were all having to race back to then pick up the caution. So actually, Osborne might indeed be the leader. We're going to have to figure out exactly who is where. They're all coming back to pit road, so it may be a non-factor. All right, we got a lot of stuff to look at here. And I want to kick things off with going all the way back before we had that round of pit stops. With the 23 of Nathan Norman, the 78 of Summer Henson. What exactly goes down here off of 4? So Orman on the brakes, and he moves up to avoid hitting, I think that was Mike Tellier. He then squeezes Summer Henson into the wall. There's where Kyle Matthews got his damage because he runs into the back of the 78, and then the 23 gets projected down onto the apron, onto the access road, and spins around the 88 of Connor Breton. Now remember, Matthews had lost the draft, so he comes flying in. That's how he's going to get all his damage. Watch here. See him scrubbing the wall there to try and scrub off speed. Yeah, Breton gets turned around. He's able to get his car righted, though. We'll show you an onboard with the 09, just show how much speed he was carrying and not enough time to be able to react. This is on board with the former champion Kyle Matthews. Yeah, Matthews wasn't planning on pitting. He was going to swing around the outside of everybody there. And unfortunately, when the contact was made between the 23 and the 78, it closed up that hole right when Matthews got there, and nothing that Kyle was able to do. Now let's try and find out what exactly brings out this yellow, and there's a couple of candidates out there, I feel, of who might have been the one to bring out the yellow flag. And I believe we might have just found them. Looks like maybe the 47 of Jesse Turner. No, it's not Turner. Who is it? Ryan Brommer in the 87. Well, a bit of a combination there. Ryan Brommer and Alexander Rowe. This is heading into turn 3, and Ryan Brommer tried to tuck up in front of the 46, was definitely not clear. Anthony McCrory gets a piece, and then everybody starts stacking up here through turn 4 as the 87 is off the pace. And watch the 39 of Keith Batson. He's going to fly into the back of Daniel Voiles. Nick Gunther gets into the back of Austin LaPlante, and then they all start sliding up to the wall. That's where Carson Gum flips over, gets another shot from the 55 of Gunther. Charles Sanford, James Qualls all try to avoid Connor Breton as well. Charles Belden gets some damage. There's our outside pole sitter Michael Norman back there also, as we'll go back and take a look at another angle of all of that. But that all started over in turn 3 and then eventually ended over in the exit of the tri-oval. Here's a look here from the 55 of Nick Gunther. Watch bottom of your screen there. Batson getting into Voiles. Gunther trying to shoot the middle. Gets into LaPlante. LaPlante up into Carson Gum. Brommer collected up in this one as well. And then Charles Sanford trying to get on the brakes, and he's going to get a hit right there in the passenger side door. He might be okay. James Qualls does a nice job getting through all that, though, as does Connor Breton. Let's take another on board here. Let's see if we can take a look at what James Qualls saw, because a lot of stuff happening right up in front of him, and he did a good job of maneuvering his way through. This is from inside the cockpit of the Castrol GTX Chevrolet. Tough break there for Carson Gum. Wrong place, wrong time, as he is already out of this event, as are a number of others. We've got a list of drivers currently out of this one, and it appears that James Qualls is on pit road, so maybe he did get a piece of that incident that we didn't see. It's currently one lap down, unless there was an incident on pit lane when they all came down pit road that last time. We'll try and follow up on that, but Qualls is currently being scored one lap down. But already quarter of the way through this race, and 7 drivers are not going to see the end of this 500. They're going to include Nick Gunther, Charles Sanford, Charles Belding, Keith Batson, Carson Gum, Anthony McCrory, and Kyle Matthews. Well, those drivers not going to get their season started out on a high note. They'll look to bounce back next week at Manassas. That leaves us with 35 drivers still scored, 34 of them on the lead lap. A few of those drivers towards the tail end of the lead lap we know are damaged. Don't know how that's going to affect them for the remainder of this one, whether they'll be up to speed or not, but we know that Ryan Brommer, Nathan Norman, Summer Henson have all been involved in some incidents so far here in the first 24 laps, and have certainly had to do, if not some, damage repair, as we're still waiting on our pace truck to give us the indication of 1 to green to get back underway here at Daytona. So, while we're waiting for that 1 to green indication, we're going to step aside for a commercial break, and then we'll be back here to the action for the Daytona 500 here in Season 8 of the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. We welcome you back to Daytona, getting ready to go back green after working our first caution of the night. That has seen 7 drivers back in the garage area. You see James Qualos has returned back onto the racetrack, but he is going to be 1 lap down. He'll look to either race his way back onto the tail end of the lead lap the hard way here, or hope that this is a continued race of attrition and continue to pick up some spots. Right now he is being scored in the 35th position. Zachary Fitzwater has led 12 laps here so far tonight, most of any driver, and he'll be the one to get us back under green. Benjamin Miles will line up behind him in second, Levi McIntyre third, Dylan Young will be fourth, and Kyler Sustre will complete the top 5. Cole Deaver, who started this race, I believe, shotgun on the field, is now up to 6th for this restart. Benjamin Snyder will be 7th, Laura Chung 8th, Matt McIntyre 9th, and RJ Bishop is going to complete the top 10. 35 drivers running, 34 on the lead lap. Green flag back in the air at the completion of 25 onto 26. James Qualls trying to get his lap back. Dylan Young wants the race lead, charging up the inside there. Cole Deaver offering the drafting help to the Iron Gwazi Ford Dark Horse Mustang. Benjamin Snyder right there as well. He's going to make a move 3 wide, looking for second place on Cole Deaver. Keep an eye on that 38 car, obviously Blue Oval Automotive, with a Daytona 500 victory back in Season 4, courtesy of Trey Wright. And Benjamin Snyder last season in the Light Series had a Super Speedway victory at Armory Digital. So it might be a good Super Speedway combination right there, driver and team in that number 38 car this evening. As Deaver now looking for the lead on Dylan Young. How would it be if the legendary number 3 went to victory lane here in the Daytona 500? S3 Motorsports has never won the Great American Race. And Deaver really would love to start out the season better than what he had last year. Last season, Cole finished 39th in overall points. Didn't have a single top 5 in 36 chartered starts. Benjamin Miles now to his inside, 3 wide for the top position. Miles is another driver who struggled last year. Would love to have a bounce back season. I think actually right there, he and Cole Deaver side by side. They were the 2 drivers last year that were full-time that didn't have a top 5 finish. And right now, they're both running inside of the top 5, both battling for the lead here in the Great American Race. How about Daniel Bouchard there in the 33? Got the last available chartered ride after winning the North Wilkesboro Special event during the off-season. The driver out of Michael Norman Motorsports. First time we've seen him behind the wheel of a Cup car since the inaugural season of the Hershey's Cup Series here on the SRA channel. Well, the field is definitely broken up there. Eric Sadler in the 12 appears to be the last car in this pack, and he is in the 23rd position. A lot of drivers have lost touch with the lead group, and as I look through them, quite a number of them are dealing with some type of damage. Alexander Rowe, Austin LaPlante, they were caught up in the incident that brought out the yellow through the tri-oval. Michael Norman, I'm not certain, he might have gotten a piece of the incident there after the Carson gum flip. We know that Nathan Normand and Ryan Brommer, Summer Henson all have some damage. It looks like the 24 of Casey Hoyt is quite a ways off the pace also. The defending Rookie of the Year from last season. So a number of drivers that caution, those incidents whatever contact might have been made is certainly going to affect them for the remainder of this race. And we saw last night in the Light Series race, we saw slower traffic come into play when we went into those long green flag runs. As a matter of fact, you could kind of, in a sense, attribute our photo finish last night to slower traffic, as it was Nick Gunther that the leaders were trying to get around. Eventually, it was a breakaway with Skylar Taylor and Sean Galligan, and it was those two that duked it out in the photo finish to the stripe for the victory. Skylar Taylor, the winner on that exchange. So we'll see how the traffic, if we encounter it, how it comes into play here in the 500. Also bear in mind, if you're keeping track of the established fuel window, we went back green on lap 26. So these drivers will have to start making plans of coming to pit road, I'd say somewhere around the lap 42, 43 mark. There is going to be a slow car up ahead to deal with, and that is the 24 of Casey Hoyt. A lot of damage on the front end of that Raising Cane Chevrolet, and we're 3 wide. Where in the world can we go? Benjamin Miles is a teammate, and he's going to be able to get through, not before losing the lead to Daniel Bouchard, but that entire outside line is going to be completely blockaded up, as now you're going to see the field kind of break apart and then have to accordion back up, as drivers are going to have to take their time getting around the 24 of Casey Hoyt. Casey Hoyt, all he can do right now is just hold a lane. You can't take him 4 wide. Daytona's just too narrow. If this were Talladega, maybe. It's a little wider in the corners there than it is here. But Casey Hoyt can only just hold his line. Everybody else has to basically figure out how to get around him. It's tough when you're that off the pace and they're 3 wide behind you at a super speedway. It's like most drivers have been able to make their way around him. Only maybe 1 or 2 drivers left to get around the wounded 24. Benjamin Miles, after losing the lead to Daniel Bouchard, getting around his teammate there, gets the race lead back. Bouchard slots into second. Jack Mitchell now in third. Battle will be on for fourth. How about Quentin Moore? Great run for him. Joanne Atwood Motorsports already has 1 driver with an issue here tonight. James Qualls currently a lap down. Joshua Osborne is, I believe, still in this lead pack, though he was one of the last ones to get around the 24, so he's back around the 16th position, trying to race his way back up here into the lead group. Quentin Moore, the lone Joanne Atwood Motorsports car, currently up inside of the top 10. And how about Dylan Poteet? Had a career year last year, finished 3rd in overall points, 2 victories on the season. But right now, he's the last remaining Fortnite squad racing at Camry in the field. Both his teammates, Charles Belding, Carson Gum, back behind the wall. Belding finishing 38th tonight, Carson Gum 40th. Cole Beaver looking for second on Daniel Bouchard. And a couple of drivers have made their way up here into the top 10 we haven't talked about tonight. How about the former champ Caleb Fogler? You see the bright green car making the move to the bottom there. The number 28 out of Blue Oval Automotive. Caleb Fogler looking really good right now, with an opportunity at claiming a Daytona 500 victory. Only 2 drivers have been able to win the 500 and the championship here in the Next Gen Cup Series, and not in the same year either. We've never had a driver do that. But Carson Gum and Chris Dollerton have both been able to put champion and a top 100 winner on their resume. Caleb Fogler here tonight could do the very same. Kyle Matthews is out of the race, as is Charles Sanford, so they wouldn't be able to. Jessica Shelton, she could. And I believe that might be it of the drivers that would be able to call themselves champion, because any other candidates are... Oh, we got Matt Haas coming to pit road there in the 8. That might be unscheduled. He's pitting from the 13th position. But going back to Daytona 500 winners and champions. Obviously, Jordan Lopez, not in a full-time capacity any longer. And that looks like it is a regularly scheduled stop for the 8. Obviously, as well, who was the other driver I was just thinking of? Stephen Pollard III, no longer in the field. So Matt Haas throws down the gauntlet, hits pit road somewhat early, and now we got some others coming in. Cole Deaver, Matt McIntyre. It's like Benjamin Snyder further back, along with Zachary Fitzwater and defending champion Jessica Shelton. Nathan Ormond on pit road as well. So the strategy games begin. This is a little bit earlier than I expected drivers to come to pit road. Thought they could go another couple laps further than this, but apparently that's not the case. They're also scoring the 46 of Alexander Rowe a lap down, so I wonder if he already came to pit road. Benjamin Miles, RJ Bishop, Dylan Young, Levi McIntyre, Jack Mitchell, and the lap car of James Qualls all coming down this lap. A lot of drivers going to stay out, try and get that extra lap lead bonus point. Quentin Moore got the lap lead that time by. Remember, too, it was the cycle green flag pit stops that caused our first and up to this point only caution. Hopefully we will get to see this cycle complete itself, as next time by at the line, we're halfway home in this Daytona 500. Halfway through our 80-lap event. Caleb Vogler, Reggie Fogelman, leader Quentin Moore, Jesse Turner all coming down this lap from the lead group. That will turn the top spot over to the 33 of Daniel Bouchard. Bouchard going to get to lead his first laps in a Duracell Next Gen Cup Series race. It's like Joshua Osborne, rookie Eric Sadler, and Cody Lamas staying out with him. And wow, look at the difference there. Momentum with the draft. 3-car tandem blowing the doors off the 33, unless the 33 might be running out of fuel. Might have stretched it one lap too long. Oh, he did. Look at that. Pulling down to the apron there as, yeah, he is running out of fuel. He'll make it to his pit stall, fortunately, but he's going to lose some track position, I'd certainly think, as well. Cody Lamas and Eric Sadler in. Extra lap going to be attempted by the 27 of Joshua Osborne. Let's see if he's got enough to make it back around. And I think once the 27 hits pit road, that will be everybody making a green flag pit stop here on this cycle. And we'll try and figure out where it all... Oh, I think Osborne might be out of fuel. Well, I understand trying to get the bonus point, but look at all the ground you're losing here. You're at a crawl. You're not actually being aggressive coming to pit road. I mean, both Daniel Bouchard and Joshua Osborne ran out of fuel through the middle of 3 and 4. I feel like that's going to lose you more than it gains you, but I could be wrong. We'll see how it all plays out. But also makes me wonder, based off the fuel window, would we have anybody attempt to try a strategy like that in the closing stages? Try and make it that extra lap, and maybe get to the start-finish line and the checkered flag on fumes. I think this is where our race lead is going to cycle around to. Quentin Moore and Benjamin Miles currently side by side. And we're not going to have a very big front pack as things currently look, which is somewhat similar to what we saw in the lights race again last night. Now, last night, we had our caution come out in the closing stages with less than 20 to go. We had our first caution this evening within the first 20 laps. Now the question is, do we run green to the end? And if so, that's going to put a lot of pressure on the crew chiefs in terms of fuel strategy in the closing stages of tonight's race, as RJ Bishop goes to the point. Leaders catching up there to the Dunkin' Donuts Ford of Alexander Rowe, who is off the pace. Matt Haas slots into second, Caleb Vogler into third. Cole Deaver, Dylan Young right now the top 5, and then the last drivers in this lead pack are Quentin Moore and Benjamin Miles. You do have a group not too far back trying to catch up. Matt McIntyre trying to hang on to the tail end of that lead group, but you got about what here? Looks like 10 drivers trying to form their own second pack to catch up to that first pack, being led by rookie Eric Sadler. Jack Mitchell's in this pack, along with James Qualls, Levi McIntyre, Benjamin Snyder, Reggie Fogelman, and Kyler Sustry. A couple of teammates nose to tail there. Jesse Turner, Dylan Pote, Cody Lamas, and Jessica Shelton, all in this pack. That is back to around the 18th position right now. And if I look at lap times, they are running faster in Group 2 than they are up in Group 1. They got to make some quick work at this 46, but I think they've got a shot of getting up here to this lead group of only about 7 cars who are going to encounter more traffic here. That's Austin LaPlante and Summer Henson just up ahead. Both those drivers on the tail end of the lead lap, and if these drivers take a little bit of extra time getting around them, get broken up, that's going to help the second pack. Second group is now making their way around Alexander Rowe. Looks like Henson and LaPlante staying up on the high line. That's hurting Matt Haas in the 8, who's going to lose a number of spots and will fall to the tail end of this lead group. But you can see that second pack, yeah, they made very quick work. Look at that, very orderly there down the back straightaway around the 46, keeping that draft tight. I think they're going to catch this first pack easily. Matt Haas, Matt McIntyre just now making their way around Henson and LaPlante. And here comes group number 2. They closed up at least half the distance there in just that lap alone. Now they're going to have to encounter LaPlante and Henson as well. However, the 48 and the 78, who were running basically nose to tail when the first group caught them, you can see now there's a gap between them, so might be a little bit easier for the second pack to make their way around each car individually. We'll follow this second group here as they're about to close up on the 48 of LaPlante. And they're doubling 3 wide here. That's not ideal. Looks like they're going to catch LaPlante here through the tri-oval, maybe exiting the tri-oval going into turn 1. Mitchell's going to dive low. They're going to try and put the 48 up top 3 wide. That's a perfect scenario right there. And then they'll have to deal with the 78. Meanwhile, this group is trying to get themselves formed up to run away from pack number 2. Catching those slower cars really helped Matt McIntyre. He was just barely hanging on to this lead pack, and now he's up here with them as we're going to go double wide, 4 rows deep. How about a almost 220 mile per hour pace lap for the first 4 rows? I think Caleb Fogler might have led that lap over RJ Bishop. And if that's the case, yep, that's the first lap led of the night for Caleb Fogler. Closing in on 30 laps to go here in the Daytona 500. If you're just joining us, we had an early yellow flag that started over in turn 3, but didn't end until we got all the way over to the exit of the tri-oval. 7 drivers out of the race. Nick Gunther, Charles Sanford, Charles Belden, Keith Batson, Carson Gum, Anthony McCurry, and Kyle Matthews after everything that transpired there. We've been under green since that caution. Had ourselves around the green flag pit stops. We've currently got 35 cars running and 30 of them on the lead lap. Lap leaders here tonight. Zachary Fitzwater has had the most circuits out in front. 13 laps led. 8 laps led by Benjamin Miles. 5 laps led by Dylan Young. 4 by Alexander Rowe. 3 laps led by RJ Bishop. 2 laps led apiece by Caleb Fogler, Matt Haas, Jack Mitchell, Jessica Shelton, Daniel Bouchard, and then 1 lap out in front for drivers Quentin Moore, Eric Monaco, and Laura Chung. So a lot of drivers have taken a turn out in front here tonight, garnered that bonus point for a lap led, which could be very important at the close of the regular season. But right now, in your shot there, those 8 drivers, they're the ones currently in the conversation for this victory. Let's check on that second group, see if they've made up any ground. They've all gotten formulated back up, so if we look at Levi McIntyre, his last lap was a 41.657. Drivers up here, they ran in the 41.4s and 41.5s. So actually, the smaller pack is creating more speed and is pulling away from the bigger pack. And people might think, well, that doesn't make much sense because there's less draft going on here in this group than there is in the other group. However, in Super Speedway racing, the smaller your group, the less checkup there is, the more opportunity there is for what you're seeing here, the tandeming. I mean, we're double file, 4 rows deep. We've got some side draft going on from one lane to the other, but they're not stalling each other out nearly as much as the double and 3 wide we see back in that second group. However, this traffic up ahead might end up helping the second group. And this is not a good scenario because you got Ryan Brommer and Nathan Ormond who are slightly up to speed, and then you got the 24 of Casey Hoyt, who we've already encountered once. We know he is very much so off the pace, and Matt Haas is going to slip on by with the race lead and leave the rest of that group all by themselves. Now Matt McIntyre, Quentin Moore going to make their way around. Nathan Ormond's going to pull down in front of the 21. I don't understand that, unless he's trying to utilize these lead lap cars to get around Ryan Brommer, because those two are actually battling for position, Brommer and Ormond for 29th. But look at the difference there of draft to single car. Matt Haas all by his lonesome out in front, and look how quickly this 21 is going to close in. Well, maybe it might be the 25 of Miles as McIntyre jumps up to the top. No, I guess Matt's clear of Benjamin. The 21's going to have a big run here, especially probably down the back straightaway. You can see the gap closing up. Can he make a move is the question here going into 3. Looks like now all of the lead lap cars here from this first group are going to clear the traffic. Now the second pack will have to do the same. And they're going to have Casey Hoyt to deal with first. So 9th place on back here in this group. If we don't get a caution or something doesn't happen to that first pack, we may end up having this group battling for the final spots inside of the top 10. Pit road is going to be a busy place, though. Just saw Nathan Norman dive onto pit lane. He was one of the first ones on pit road for our last cycle of green flag pit stops, so expect to see some hands out the window here potentially, as Matt McIntyre going to take the race lead away from Matt Haas. We missed that lead change there, but McIntyre still yet to get a lap-led bonus point. Trying to remember up here in this lead group any of the first drivers to make the dive onto pit road, and I don't recall who they were, but it looks like it will be Matt Haas and Cole Deaver coming in this time. Drag race to the line. Does Matt get the bonus point for the lap led? Scoring says yes. Yes, he did. So Haas and Deaver from the lead group come to pit road. This is going to break the field into smaller groups even more, I feel. And we'll see who cycles out to the front when all is said and done. I think they're going to have to make at least one more pit stop before the end of this race. And if the numbers are correct, they're going to have to make that pit stop somewhere under 10 to go. Matt McIntyre, RJ Bishop, and Benjamin Miles all hit the pit lane together this time by. Caleb Fogler will re-inherit the lead. Dylan Young stays out an extra lap in the 2. Trying to figure in my head, I believe that some of these drivers that are running long here, if they make their final pit stop around where I'm projecting they might, they would be able to probably only have to put in 1 can of fuel. I think most of these drivers that came to pit road early, they'd have to take 1.5 cans, so that could be a strategy ploy right there to try and gain a little bit of time in the closing stages of this race for some of these drivers running a little bit longer here on this particular stint. Not sure who the lead went to now. Looks like it's Quentin Moore in the 89. We're still waiting on him. Eric Sadler, Reggie Fogelman, Cody Lamas, Laura Chung, Joshua Osborne, Daniel Bouchard to come to pit road. And looks like a number of them going to come in this time by. Sadler's going to stay out, though. He'll get a bonus point for a lap led. He hasn't led yet this evening, as Moore, Fogelman, and Lamas all hit the pit lane. We got ourselves a strong rookie class here this season, much like we did last season. Eric Sadler, Eric Monaco, Summer Henson, Daniel Bouchard, all duking it out for Rookie of the Year this season. Should be a good one. Last season, we had a lot of our rookies go to victory lane. Casey Hoyt 3 times, Connor Breton 3 times, Will Goss twice. Kyler Sustre was in the Rookie of the Year battle last year, and he had a victory. So, how about Eric Sadler staying out yet another lap here? Now, I don't think he's going to, but if Eric Sadler could stay out another 2 laps, he, after his pit stop, I think would be able to make it the rest of the way. Joshua Osborne in the 27 has also stayed out this long. So if you're looking at somebody to try and snipe the Daytona 500 victory in the close of this race, you might want to look at the 12 and the 27. All right, Sadler's coming in this time. Let's find the 27 of Osborne, see if he's coming in. I think Osborne might have actually hit pit road the lap prior. And scoring says yes, that is the case. So Sadler's the only one that's able to go, it seems, the longest. An extra lap over everybody else. That could be interesting when we get to the end of this race. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. Of course, if a caution comes out, that throws a spanner into the works and completely throws all of this pit strategy out the window, as I believe this is going to be your battle for the lead, and it's a 2-car battle. Matt Haas, former Daytona 500 winner from Season 5, Matt McIntyre, who was in line for a couple of victories last season and came up just short, trying to get back to Duracell Next Gen Cup Series victory lane. Last year, Matt McIntyre was dominated at Hanford, got into the wall off of turn 1. They had to repair right side damage, and he was never able to make his way back up to the front of the field. And then at Arizona, he was running down Levi McIntyre, needed just a couple more laps. And he might have had something for the 99, but time ran out. Well, you look here at our current top 5, top 10, and there are a lot of redemption stories from last season to this season right now. Matt Haas last year finished 36th in overall points. Matt McIntyre finished at 34th in overall points. I'll look further back at Benjamin Miles, who finished 35th in overall points. Cole Deaver right now up in the lead group, who finished in 39th in overall points. I mean, there are a lot of drivers who struggled last year, wanted to get this season started off right, and right now they're in line to do just that. Your top 3 are now all organized up, but there is a group behind trying to catch up to them. A couple of Young Motorsports Fords there with Dylan Young and RJ Bishop. Benjamin Snyder in this group. Actually, I think that now this group back here, who've been able to kind of keep together after the pit stop cycle completed, Eric Sadler, Jack Mitchell, and others, I think they may have a shot of getting up there into this lead group now. If they can catch this group here before this group catches the top 3, I think they've got a shot at it. If this group catches the top 3, though, they're going to organize back up that 7 or 8 car draft and might be able to pull away from, we'll call it Group 3. Leaders just got around the 0-2 of Destin Bolin. Destin in his third full-time season with Young Motorsports. 3 wins in his rookie season. Last year, though, winless, even though he did point his way into the playoffs for the second time in his career. But he is now the first car 1 lap down in 28th position. Well, who's got the fuel to make it to the end? Does anyone have the fuel to make it to the end? Here tonight, only 1 caution that came out in the early stages of this race. Since then, it's been all about pit road and green flag pit stop strategy. Matt McIntyre, I think he thought he was going to be able to maybe go around the outside of the 48 of Austin LaPlante, but he chose the wrong line. Matt Haas says, thank you very much. He'll take the lead back. And now that second group has reeled in the top 3. Dylan Young going to go for third place on McIntyre. Caleb Fogler going to step out on Matt Haas for the top position. And you can see that second group back there. We're going to keep an eye on them, see if they can close in. But I feel now that we've hit about the optimal amount of cars up here in this first group that they can start opening up the gap. And maybe just make it a fight amongst them. Unless pit road comes into play. Now, looking back at Eric Sadler, Sadler is right now in the 10th position. He's actually leading that second group with Jack Mitchell. I would have thought if we were looking at the 12 as a possibility to make it the rest of the way, he would want to actually be running in somebody else's draft rather than leading the pack he's in. So I'm not 100% certain now, not 100% on board with Eric Sadler being able to make it to the conclusion, because he is using up more fuel being out in front of the group that he is in. We'll have the drivers up here in this lead group. Only 1 is a former Daytona 500 winner, that being Matt Haas. The other 7 would be looking for their first Daytona 500 victory. And ironically enough, none of the rookies are up here. I think in terms of experience, the youngest driver up here would be Benjamin Snyder. This is only his second full-time season in the Cup Series. His first was back in Season 6 when he drove for Lake Effect Autosport. Almost picked up a victory at Sonoma during his rookie year. But then we didn't see him full-time in the Cup Series last season. He ran in the Light Series en route to a victory at Armory Digital Super Speedway. Had a pretty good season there as well. But now he's got a shot at being Daytona 500 champion, as they've now caught Alexander Rowe and Summer Henson. Looking at lap times here, that second pack is running about 0.2 quicker than the lead pack. And if they catch, that's going to turn this group of about 8 into a group of about 15 or 16. And I think we've got more slower cars up ahead here. That's going to be the 24 of Casey Hoyt once again. Hoyt soldiering on. Currently the last car running on the track in 35th, 3 laps down. But hey, if somebody has a mechanical problem, if we have a wreck or something, could pick up some spots. Those spots translate to points, which could be very important when we get to Auto Club at the end of the regular season and maybe fighting for a spot in the playoffs. Casey Hoyt, of course, in the playoffs last season as a rookie, finished 11 points behind the eventual champion Jessica Shelton, but second overall in points in his first full-time season. And it seems like Benjamin Miles, whenever he encounters his teammate in the 24, he picks the wrong lane. Did so again there. We've got some dirt kicking up there on the back straightaway. 22 of Michael Norman on the apron. No caution, so I'm not certain exactly what's going on with that car. But something is definitely amiss, as he's going to come to pit road, our outside pole sitter, with an issue coming to 10 laps to go. That has all the looks of a mechanical failure on the 22 car. Didn't see any smoke though, so we'll wait for a diagnosis as the battle is on for the lead. Benjamin Snyder, Dylan Young, but I think everybody's still going to have to make plans of coming to pit road in the closing stages, and I think it's going to be somewhere here in these next couple laps. going to get the money stop. You want to have a pit stop good enough to be in the lead pack when it all cycles around. I think Matt Haas is coming in. Nope, maybe not. Zachary Fitzwater there, coming in ahead of the race leaders. I thought Haas was coming in because I think he and Cole Deaver were some of the first ones to hit pit road in the last 2 pit stop cycles. And we saw the 8 dive from the top down to the bottom through 3 and 4. But nope, not yet coming to pit road. I think everybody here will be able to come to pit lane and only have to put in a can of fuel. Maybe if you stretch it far enough, you can just put in a half can. I don't know. They're going to catch the 26 of Daniel Boyles up there, running 25th, last car on the lead lap. And now Haas is coming in, along with Benjamin Snyder. But Cole Deaver will stay out. He's not going to come down pit road with his pitting buddy from the last 2 times. Boyles will now go a lap down. Dylan Young out in front, showing the way, but that indicates right there everybody's going to have to come to pit road in the closing stages. Looks like whatever was the problem with Michael Norman, he's back out on track. But Michael's going to lose 2 laps at least. Looks like maybe a 3rd here. Tough way to start out his season. Who makes the dive to pit road here from this group? Miles is coming in. You can see the flares coming out of the tailpipes there as he lifted off the throttle. Cole Deaver coming to pit road as well. Mike Tellier looks like he may have just finished up his pit stop. Matt McIntyre and Jack Mitchell both in also. Matt McIntyre had actually lost touch with the lead group and had fallen back to the 2nd pack. I think he had a little bit of difficulty getting around the 46 of Rowe and the 78 of Henson when the leaders encountered him. Here's the battle maybe for the lead. Oh no, this is actually for 2nd. Dylan Young's the leader. My apologies. And D. Young's coming to pit road this time. His teammates coming in as well. Reed Ford's going to come down pit road all together there. Levi McIntyre is going to come down. You see him left side of your screen. He's trying to close up the gap there on entry on these top 3 drivers. So who does that turn the lead over to now? It might be Dylan Poteet in the 31. It is. And I think that's Poteet's first lap lead of the night. 75 laps in, he'll get himself a bonus point. Now Reggie Fogelman to his inside. Fogelman's yet to get a bonus point for a lap lead this evening. We'll see if he stays out an extra lap for that. Or do we see a couple of Toyota Camrys hit pit road together? They're coming in. Quentin Moore's going to follow him down, and there you saw the 12 of Eric Sadler stay out. Now we know he can go a little bit longer, maybe another lap or 2, but I don't think he can make it the rest of the way without coming to pit road. The big reason being, as I pointed out, he was leading the 2nd group for a good portion of that run. So whatever he might have been able to save on staying out a little bit longer on the last run, I think may have just canceled out with him using up fuel on this run. We'll see though, could be a gamble for the rookie. We have never had a rookie win the Daytona 500. We aren't going to count Carter Friesen back in season 1 because everybody was a rookie then. Everybody was making their first start of the season. But since then, every single Daytona 500 has been won by a veteran or at least a driver no longer in their rookie season. Eric Sadler would love to be the first, but he'd have to make another 2.5 laps. No, actually, no, 3.5 laps. And I think that's too tall a task to ask there of that machine. Sadler going to hit pit road, so who does that turn the lead over to? Looks like right about this area. Benjamin Miles, Caleb Fogler, Matt Haas. I believe the 83 of Zachary Fitzwater is a lap down. Double checking, yes he is. So these 3 drivers here to battle it out. Benjamin Snyder trying to stay in touch And then you got a group back here. Dylan Young, Matt McIntyre, Jack Mitchell, Cole Deaver trying to close up. RJ Bishop, Levi McIntyre all strung out here. Fogelman, Moore, Poteet, Sustre. I don't think they're going to have enough time. This group might if they can stay all single filed up. As Miles and company encountering some traffic. That's Mike Tellier they're going to get around. Was there somebody on the apron there? No, that's Sadler coming off of pit road. They're also going to catch the 88 of Connor Breton, who is a teammate to the 25, as we're 3 wide for the lead. Matt Haas on the bottom, Caleb Fogler in the middle, Benjamin Miles on the top side. Coming around to the line, 2 laps to go. Matt Haas trying to be a multi-time Daytona 500 winner. Caleb Fogler trying to be the 3rd driver to win a 500 and a championship. And Benjamin Miles looking to end a long winless streak, but he's boxed in right now. Benjamin Snyder still got a shot at this, as now he's up in this lead group. Caleb Fogler now to the points. Matt Haas on his back bumper in second, though. A lot of drafting X factors in this group, too, with Fitzwater, Breton, and Mike Tellier. This time by, we're going to see the white flag. 1 lap to go in the Great American Race. Drag race to photo finish there, coming to the white. Will we see the same in 2.5 miles? Haas edged out Fogler that time by. He's got the inside advantage, and Fogler is losing his drafting help. Haas is clear for the lead. Fitzwater. Now he's going to get put in the middle 3 wide by Benjamin Snyder. That could be all she wrote unless Fogler can clear. Remember, the 83 is a teammate to the 28. Does Fogler cut down here to the inside of Matt Haas off of turn 4? If he does Fitzwater go with him? Not able to make a move. Matt Haas, 2-time Daytona 500 winner, as he'll take the checkers here tonight in the Great American Race. It's never been done before until now. Matt Haas took his first Daytona 500 victory back in Season 5 when we had 3 drivers per car. 3 seasons later, in the new 2024 Toyota Camry XSE, Matt Haas is back in victory lane at Daytona and is the first 2-time Daytona 500 winner in Duracell Next Gen Cup Series history. That will make back-to-back seasons as well that a Haas racing car has won the Daytona 500, and 3rd time in the last 4 seasons. What a way to start out the year for Matt Haas. Last year, winless, only 3 top 5s, 6 top 10s, finished 36th in overall points. Here tonight, though, he'll be the one in victory lane, as he is your Season 8 Daytona 500 winner. Crazy battle there at the end between Haas, Fogler, Benjamin Miles, and Benjamin Snyder tried to get into the conversation, but just didn't have enough time. The timing of that final pit stop left drivers only about 3 or 4 laps to be able to make moves for the win, and Matt Haas timed it perfectly, getting around the lap machines, Connor Breton and Zachary Fitzwater, Mike Tellier as well, and was able to keep Fogler at bay. Fogler going to bring it home with a solid 2nd place performance, though. Benjamin Miles starts his season out well. He'll get the final spot on the podium. Great run for Benjamin Snyder in his return to the Cup Series. He'll get 4th. And Jack Mitchell, how about that? Good run for him in the 5th position. Guess that extra track time in last night's late series race definitely paid off for him. Dylan Young, he's going to bring it home in 6th. His teammate Eric Sadler right behind him in 7th. Sadler will be the rookie of the race tonight. Cole Deaver, after starting shotgun on the field, gets 8th. Matt McIntyre and Levi McIntyre are going to finish out the top 10. RJ Bishop will get 11th. Reggie Fogelman in 12th. 13th for Quentin Moore. Dylan Poteet 14th. 15th was Kyler Sustre. Joshua Osborne 16th. Laura Chung was 17th. Eric Monaco, the defending Light Series champ, was 18th. 19th for the defending champion Jessica Shelton, our pole sitter, inside the top 20 along with Jesse Turner. Daniel Bouchard and Cody Lamas were the last two drivers to finish on the lead lap back through 22nd. With having 3 cycles of green flag pit stops, a number of drivers finishing a lap down, Fitzwater, Breton, and Mike Tellier, your top 25. Voiles, Qualls, Destin Bolin, Ryan Brommer in your top 30 down to 29th. James Qualls, let's not forget, Qualls was a lap down for an unscheduled pit stop at the end of that first caution, and he was able to battle back, not the last car 1 lap down, picked up some spots there during the course of this race. So well done to him. Finishes 27th in what was looking like was going to be about a 35th place day. So at least making the most of the bad situation tonight. Destin Bolin, Ryan Brommer, we already mentioned there. Nathan Ormond, 2 laps down in 30th. Alexander Rowe, Summer Henson, Austin Plant, Michael Norman, all 2 laps down through 34th. Casey Hoyt was the last driver to finish the race, 4 laps down in 35th. And then all these drivers were involved in the incident that brought out the caution and did not reach the conclusion. A couple of the Mazdas, and Nick Gunther and Anthony McCrory out of the race. Charles Sanford, Charles Belding, Keith Batson, Carson Gum, and Kyle Matthews. 3 former champions right there in Sanford, Gum, and Matthews. All those drivers going to look to bounce back next week when we head to the Manassas Speedway. Friday, it's the Light Series qualifying, and then on Saturday, we've got the Cup qualifying and the Lights race. Sunday will be the Cup race at the 2 Mile Speedway / Super Speedway. But the night belongs to Matt Haas. He is your Daytona 500 winner here for Season 8 and your first multiple-time Daytona 500 champion in the Duracell Next Gen Cup Series. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race here from Daytona and this entire race weekend. What a way to kick off the 2nd season of Lights, the 8th season of Cup. Cannot wait to see what Manassas has in store next week. But if you enjoyed this race, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and come part of the crew today. If you're on your phone, be sure to hit the bell notification to be notified of when we go live for these broadcasts. And until next weekend at Manassas, I've been Seth Cole. I'll see you guys next time as you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.
The following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.